Hello guys, welcome back to Learning with Isha. What were we talking about? We were talking about the ecosystem. In the previous videos, I've already told you that ecosystem studies are based on 4 different processes. We have already seen productivity in the previous video. We move on to decomposition today. What is decomposition? See, I always say this. एक word का मतलब उस word में ही छुपा हुआ होता है. Decompose करना. Compose क्या होता है? A composer composes music, right? This is an example. किसी को create करना is composition. Decomposition has to be the opposite of that. To deconstruct something, right? That is decomposition. So decomposition is also called decay or putrefaction. So what is decomposition? It is the breakdown of complex organic matter into simpler forms. What is this decomposition process? एक simple breakdown का process है. कौन कर रहा होगा? Organisms. Who are these organisms? They could be fungi, they could be bacteria, but these group of organisms are called decomposers. The organisms affecting decomposition are decomposers. Well, simple. Now let's try to understand अगर complex matter breakdown हो रहा है तो simpler form बन रहे होंगे. So this complex matter first of all is organic and this matter is called detritus. क्या है ये? Detritus is the raw material for decomposition. So now if something is getting decomposed, क्या टूट सकता है nature में? वही जो बर्बाद हो रहा होगा. Let's say a plant sheds off its leaves or a plant itself dies. What is going to happen? It needs to be decomposed so that whatever minerals are trapped in that plant are released back to the environment जहाँ उसको दूसरे plants या autotrophs फिर से absorb कर लेंगे, nutrient cycling होगी, right? So this detritus could be leaves. It could be, let's say, dead plants. It could also be dead animals, right? Animals also die. Also, they excrete out waste. All of this serves as the raw material for decomposition. Now, this complex organic matter is broken down basically into 2 different things. One is your small organic molecules and the other is inorganic compounds. These small organic molecules, what will happen, will be used by fungi and the other decomposers. जब भी हम कोई काम करते हैं हम ज़रूर उससे कोई benefit derive कर रहे होते हैं. So out of this decomposition process, the decomposers are getting nutrition, they are getting energy. ये उनका इसमें फ़ायदा है. So ये organic molecules will be absorbed by whom? The decomposers themselves. Now what are we left with? We are left with the inorganic part. Let's say the minerals, the carbon dioxide release, the water. All of this is going to be released in the environment and get recycled. Now let's talk about the factors that affect decomposition. मैं क्या decompose करना चाह रही हूँ? What is the composition of my detritus is going to determine what is going to be my rate of decomposition, right? So now let's logically think. First is the chemical composition of detritus. Now if I give you 2 options, okay? The first one is nitrogen-rich compounds that are soluble in water, proteins, sugars, molecules like that. And second option is chitin and lignin. What do you think will be decomposed faster? Well, my expressions gave away the answer. The answer is definitely chitin and lignin will take more time. They are complex molecules, guys. Chitin कहाँ मिलता है? चलो, let's ask one more question. Chitin कहाँ मिलता है? Fungal cell wall में मिलता है. Lignin कहाँ मिलता है? In the plant cell wall. इनका role क्या होता है? Lignin provides strength to the plant cell wall. Chitin makes up the fungal cell wall, right? They are very complex molecules. So complex molecules need more time to break down. Proteins, sugars, they're all water soluble. Enzymes quickly act, they're quickly going to break them down. Now the second thing is climatic factors, temperature and moisture. Now if I'm again giving you 2 options, warm and moist conditions vis-a-vis. कोल्ड, ड्राई, ऑक्सीजन डिप्लीटेड कंडीशंस, किसमें डिकॉम्पोजिशन फास्टर होगी? Naturally, warm and moist conditions में, if I were to give you an option to go to a dry, arid desert, vis-a-vis go to some Bali or beach kind of place, your obvious choice is going to be some nice, warm, tropical place, right? Similarly, why? Because our enzymes, our body is suited to act in these conditions better. Let's say chitin has to be broken down. An enzyme called chitinase will be involved. The enzyme is going to act better at the room temperature, at the normal temperatures. So the breakdown process is also going to be faster. Also, an important factor that affects decomposition is the oxygen availability. In oxygen rich environments, decomposition is much faster vis-a-vis in oxygen depleted environments. Let's talk about the mechanism of decomposition now. Decomposition is a systematic process. It occurs in 5 main steps. But do not think that these 5 steps operate separately. It's a continuous process. All these steps happen side by side. एक साथ होते हैं, isolation में नहीं होते हैं. The first 3 steps happen at the same time. Let's begin talking about each of them in detail. The first step is fragmentation. फ्रेगमेंटेशन का क्या मतलब होता है? टू ब्रेक डाउन, फ्रेगमेंट करना, ठीक है? सो दैट इज फ्रेगमेंटेशन. सो व्हाट इज माय रॉ मटेरियल? आई टोल्ड यू इट्स detritus. So it's going to be, let's say there's a leaf that has fallen off a plant and I want to decompose this leaf. So that is going to act as my hypothetical raw material, okay? So now this is a big leaf. It needs to be broken down into smaller particles. So this is happening in a step called fragmentation. But a question that might come to your mind is कि इसको smaller units में break down करने की ज़रूरत ही क्या है? See guys, whenever we break something down into smaller particles, we try to increase the surface area. By increasing the surface area, what is going to happen? The enzymes that act on it, फंगाई, बैक्टीरिया, डिकम्पोजर्स आएंगे, एंजाइम्स रिलीज करेंगे, एंजाइम्स एक ज़्यादा सरफेस एरिया पे एक्ट कर पाएगी. दिस इज गोइंग टू एक्सेलरेट द डिकम्पोजिशन प्रोसेस. सो फ्रेगमेंटेशन में क्या बन गया? स्मॉलर अभी यूनिट्स बन गए हमारे पास. द नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज नाउ लीचिंग. नाउ वंस दिस फ्रेगमेंटेशन हैज अकर्ड, here we have the organic molecules, also there are salts present with it. So in leaching what happens is the salts are released, they dissolve with water, they go down in deeper layers of the soil and they become unavailable. फिर से बताती हूँ. Leaching. What is now going to happen is that these salts that were present in the fragments, क्या होगा? ये soil के, let's say this is the top soil, these are the soil layers, they are going to percolate down with the water and they are going to become unavailable. So this is leaching. अब मेरे पास बच गया क्या? लीचिंग के बाद मेरे पास organic matter के small units fragments बच गए. So this is left with me. Now I have to deal with this. The next step is going to be catabolism. See guys, in general biology there are 2 words, catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism क्या होता है? It is the breakdown of bigger molecules into simpler forms. Anabolism is the exact opposite. Smaller molecules come together to form, synthesize what? Complex molecules. So catabolism में क्या हो रहा है कि now the bacteria, the fungi, the decomposers are going to come, they're going to release enzymes and this is going to be broken down further. So अब इसके और छोटे particles बन जाएंगे. So okay, even smaller organic matter particles are formed as a result of catabolism. Fine. Now what is my next step? The next step is humification. Humification word itself gives away the meaning. Humification, the formation of what? Humus. Humus अगर आप एक गार्डनिंग एंथुजियास्ट है या अदरवाइज भी आपने डेफिनेटली सुना होगा, टॉप सॉइल किस चीज में रिच होती है? एक ब्लैक कलर की लेयर में. वो किसकी होती है? वो ह्यूमस की एक लेयर होती है. It is very beneficial for the soil. It is a fertilizer, it is rich in nutrients, it improves the soil's water holding capacity, bacterial or pest के attack को भी रोकता है. If you need to know more about humus, I'll make a separate video to cover that. For now, let's move on and understand कि अब ये बना देगा humus by the process of humification. Okay, excellent. Now my black matter, this humus has formed. Now what is going to happen after this fertilizer wala humus has formed? Now my minerals are going to further be released. Humus के अंदर भी जो inorganic minerals available होंगे, mineralization नाम के process से they are going to get released and it will become available in the environment for the use of autotrophs. So what is going to happen here is that the minerals are going to be released to environment. So now this is my entire cycle of decomposition. मेरा complex organic matter टूट चुका है into humus, which is simpler organic matter, and also the inorganic material. Like I told you, दो parts थे, तो inorganic material भी अब release हो चुका है. So this was all about decomposition. In the next video, we'll start talking about the different aspects of ecosystem.